She banged on my door at midnight, her nails clicking against the glass like claws. "Open up!" she shrieked. "Your Porsche violates HOA rules. It's being impounded." Before I could answer, red and blue lights flashed across my driveway. Two men in uniform stormed out of a black SUV, shouting, "Step aside, ma'am. Official police business." Karen strutted behind them like she'd called in the cavalry. One of them slapped a fake citation on my hood and barked, "Keys, now." I leaned against the doorframe, calm, watching their cheap badges glint in the porch light. Karen smirked, recording on her phone. "Got you this time. Thought you were above the rules. Not anymore." The taller cop reached for his cuffs, growling, "We can do this the easy way," or... That's when I pulled out my wallet, flipped it open, and let the silver star catch the light. "Funny thing," I said quietly. "I don't answer to HOA rules. I enforce federal law." The street went dead silent. Karen froze mid-smile, her phone shaking in her hand. The fake cops blinked, their bluff crumbling right there on my driveway. One whispered, "Marshal?" And I took a single step closer. "U.S. Marshal. And you two just made the dumbest mistake of your lives." The taller cop tried to recover, puffing out his chest. "That badge looks fake. You're just trying to scare us." Karen jumped in, her voice shrill. "Don't listen to him. He's a liar, a criminal. Arrest him and take the car." But my son's bedroom light flicked on upstairs, and the neighbors were already peeking through blinds, phones glowing as they started recording. I didn't raise my voice. I just pulled my jacket back enough for the porch light to catch the sidearm on my hip. Regulation issue, holstered but ready. "Go ahead," I said, eyes steady. "Call in your precinct. Give them my name. See how fast they hang up on you." The shorter one shifted uneasily, sweat dripping down his temple. He muttered, "Man, this isn't worth it." But Karen hissed at him like a snake. "Do your job! Take that car!" The taller one moved toward the Porsche, hand outstretched for the keys on the counter inside my doorway. That's when I stepped forward, my boots crunching against the gravel, and dropped the line that made Karen's phone dip in her hand. "You think you're here to tow my car? But in 10 minutes, you'll be riding in the back of one." The taller fake cop froze mid-step, his hand inches from the Porsche's handle. My badge wasn't shaking, but his fingers were. He tried to play tough, spitting out, "You're bluffing." I pulled out my phone, tapped one button, and set it on speaker. "Marshal Ortega?" A calm dispatcher's voice answered instantly. "Do you need backup?" The color drained from their faces. Karen's jaw dropped so far the recording nearly slipped from her hand. "He's faking it!" she screeched. "Don't listen! He's not a real marshal!" But the dispatcher's voice filled the street. "Units are en route. Estimated 3 minutes." The shorter one cursed under his breath. "She told us it was just a repo jig, said it was legal." He glanced at Karen like she dragged him into a burning building, but she doubled down, pointing at me, wild-eyed. "He forged the title! That car belongs to the HOA! Arrest him before—" Headlights cut her off. Real cruisers came rolling in, their sirens low but sharp. Red and blue lights painted the neighborhood in truth. My neighbors crowded porches, filming, whispering, "Oh my God, they're not real cops." And I didn't even have to move. I just folded my arms and said, "Game over." The real deputies poured out of their cruisers, weapons drawn, voices sharp. "Drop your gear! Hands on your head!" The two fake cops didn't even argue. They hit the pavement fast, wrists laced behind their necks. One tried to sputter, We were hired. She told us this was official business." Every phone in the neighborhood swung toward Karen. Her face went pale, her mouth opening and closing without a sound. Then she screamed, pointing at me like a madwoman. "He's lying! He's not a marshal! He's a con artist! He tricked them!" But the sheriff stepped out next, slow and steady, and walked straight to me. He gave me a firm nod, then turned to Karen. "You really want to play that game, ma'am? Because I've worked with him before." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Karen stumbled back a step. No, that's impossible. He can't be." The sheriff cut her off, voice hard. "U.S. Marshal, federal jurisdiction. which means impersonating officers, false reports, and conspiracy to commit grand theft auto. That's all federal time. Phones caught every word. Karen's knees buckled, but instead of surrendering, she bolted toward the porch, screaming, "If I can't have it, no one will." And that's when my son's voice boomed from the porch, "Mom, move!" Karen lunged for the driver's side, her nails scraping the paint as she yanked the handle like she could will it open. My son's warning snapped me into motion, but I didn't have to touch her. One of the deputies intercepted, slamming the door shut before she could climb in. She shrieked like an animal caught in a trap, twisting and kicking until the cuffs clicked around her wrists. The whole neighborhood watched in stunned silence, their phone cameras glowing like fireflies in the dark. One neighbor whispered, "She really thought she could steal a federal marshal's car?" Another laughed under his breath, "She's finished." Karen thrashed against the deputy's grip, spit flying as she screamed, "You don't know who I am! I'll have the HOA board sue all of you! This street belongs to me!" But the sheriff just shook his head and pushed her toward the cruiser. "Lady, you're not in charge of anything anymore." I finally stepped down from the porch, my boots steady on the gravel. Karen turned her head, eyes burning holes through me. She hissed, "You'll regret this." I leaned just close enough for her and every camera to hear. "No, Karen, you'll regret thinking a neighborhood rule book is stronger than federal law." The crowd erupted in cheers as the cruiser door slammed shut. The street was alive now, neighbors clapping, some even whistling as Karen sat red-faced in the back of the cruiser. The two fake cops were already loaded into another unit, their fake badges bagged as evidence. A deputy walked over and handed me the citation they'd slapped on my Porsche earlier. I held it up for the crowd, then ripped it in half. People laughed and someone shouted, "That's going viral tonight!" The sheriff looked at me with a half smile. "Guessing this isn't the first time you've had someone test you." I shrugged. "Not the first, won't be the last." My son stepped down from the porch and clapped me on the shoulder. "Good thing they didn't know who they were dealing with." Karen banged her head against the cruiser window, her muffled voice cutting through the cheers. "This isn't over. The HOA board will come after you. You can't fight the system." I turned so every camera caught it, my voice calm but sharp. "Karen, I put handcuffs on cartel leaders and fugitives who thought the same thing. The system isn't your toy, and tonight you learned that the hard way." The sheriff gave me a slow nod. "Marshal, I think we can call this one closed." And for the first time in months, the street finally felt like it belonged to the people who lived there.